Hey, what's up YouTube, Skybadger here, and we are back early on day 38. This isn't so much as a day review, but I'd just like to show you what's happening at the moment in the Americas. So in North America at the moment, I'm currently running away from some destroyers, and while yes, I can easily destroy these, I believe that this is much more than just a few destroyers, because he has routed in quite a few. So if we have a look at there's already one coming down that has just been exposed by this naval bomber, and I'm sending aircraft further out to look for other ships that may be coming down as well. At this point they can only really come down. From what I understand about his naval forces, there isn't really all that much left. So really all I'm doing is I am just patrolling at the moment to watch out for other units. Because what he could be planning to do is he could be planning to just use his destroyers to stall time until battleships or cruisers show up to throw in all the hard hits. So that's why I'm running. Every hour or so I stop and I return fire. That's how, if we look in here quickly, I've already destroyed 2 of his cruisers. And that's basically all we're going to do until we know we're safe. At the moment he's got aircraft patrolling overhead, but due to the high amount of anti-air that this unit has, like 5 times 11, 50, I nearly said, oh yeah, that is 55. 55, and 3 times 8 is about 24, so, you know, between those 2 units alone, there's over 70 anti-air power right there. So every time his aircraft patrol, they're going to lose 1 and take even more damage. So that's what's happening at the moment. So I'm retreating in case this is a trap, and I'm also sending out aircraft to patrol so I know where it is safe to go. And as you can see, this is coming out in front because I do not want to run into any submarines in front of me. He could just be sending these up behind in the hope I run this way. So you just got to keep an eye out for these sort of things. It is also entirely possible that he may be trying to move into a range where he can attack, and then what will happen is he will engage, he will stop my units down the track where they engage, and then launch rockets. That is a trick I learned against while I was playing against a gold spammer. Is I had one of these massive naval units, and all he did was he used 1 sub to stop it, and even though I nearly destroyed that sub, he then proceeded to launch however many rockets he needed. I gave up counting until it was destroyed. And yeah, I know it sucks, but that is a legit strategy. So what he could be trying to do is he could be trying to cut me off, stop me, and then from his surrounding air bases launch a shit ton of rockets to destroy that. And while it would take a lot of rockets, like 1 battleship is going to take 3 rockets alone, depending on the level I guess, it is still a viable option and would be pretty devastating to me. So yeah, if we look at that, we've already exposed another destroyer coming down. And while destroyers aren't too much of a threat because they can only attack with 5.5, in large enough numbers they can deal a fair bit of damage. So I've just got to keep my eyes out and keep watching and keep track of his troops. And considering France is on the verge of landing his troops, I can't retreat my navy too far because I'm going to need it in the region pretty soon. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you a little bit later on if this develops even more with a little bit of an update. So we're back a little later on in this naval combat. I've done some scouting and I've found that not only is there this destroyer coming down, there's about another destroyer here, a cruiser here, and there's an aircraft carrier in here. So I've done a little bit of research and I'm just going to send this over here just to patrol. It's not patrolling anything significant, but it's just out of the way. Now some of the United States has deployed a lot, and I mean a lot, of naval bombers. And it has taken its toll. I have lost 1 destroyer. Could be worse. And it's gotten to the point where I have deployed my interceptors to target some of these weaker groups just to take them down. So I should be able to destroy this with 1 go from my interceptors. It's only got about 7 hit points, and these can attack with 8.5. So even at 80%, 2 of them should take this down. And most of the other patrolling units are pretty low on health well, and I don't expect them to last long. It will be interesting to actually see what happens when this one finishes patrolling, how much damage it will take. Because not only will it attack the aircraft, it will also attack my cruisers and destroyers and battleships. It could take a good hard hit there. So in 5 minutes time, when we finish running, that's when our guns will be armed, and then we'll stop, pause, split, and return fire. And hopefully do a lot of damage. So let's see how much this takes. 100%, 2 interceptors, 4 naval bombers. Okay, didn't actually take too much damage. That's actually pretty surprising. That probably took a little more damage. But that was interesting. So 18 seconds, and that should be there. And we'll see how hard that hits. I've deployed the interceptors because interceptors are pretty easy to replace. All I have to do is send the carrier pretty close to land, and then I can fly new interceptors out. But new ships take a little longer to get there. Oh, that actually took a lot of damage. That was actually pretty weird, to be honest. So I'm not sure how that worked out, but somehow I lost one interceptor and nearly a completely other interceptor to that, and hardly even damaged it. Maybe my understanding of patrolling aircraft isn't as simple, and maybe because there was other aircraft patrolling in the region. Possibly. So maybe I might just not deploy them anytime soon. So with that, it's time to build some new interceptors, I guess. I don't think we have any runways close to there. Oh yeah, we have a runway down here where we can produce them, but would it be quicker to... because we have to wait for the aircraft to return, so I may as well produce them at a faster industry spot. So yeah, let's just go up to here, and we need 2 new... well, we can't build 2 new because we're just missing a little bit of oil. And then I'll start the other one soon. But that is really how this is working at the moment. So considering I don't want this one in the region, so it doesn't get damaged, I'll just send it out to patrol once it lands. And I accidentally turn those around, so I don't actually know how much time they have left until they're taken up. But an easy way to check is if we just split away the battleships and check just by firing those. Oh yeah, 1 second. So yeah, we just destroyed 2 more of the enemy destroyers. So now if we split off the cruisers and we send them to attack, and we just group these here, there's no point sending in the destroyers because sure they will fire and they will destroy enemy ships, but then they'll also take a little bit of damage back, and it's not really worth it. So the cruisers, they're going to go do that, and I guess all we can do in the meantime is wait. So if we have a look in the newspaper, yeah, we just destroyed 2 more destroyers then. Building damage in Charleston. Okay, that would be from those patrolling. What if I just keep those on patrols? They actually did a lot of damage. A little bit there. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, we'll hide those because I don't need to lose them anytime soon. I'll record them to the carrier later on, or I could see what that other carrier is up to. In other naval use though, down here at the moment, although we are never reveal all today, so we know where they're heading anyway, I'm just tracking this unit in case it goes off course. So any second now it should reappear back into the patrol zone of this naval bomber here, and then I'm just going to redeploy that one so we can just track it at all times. I'm just doing it for fun, just to show force. I don't really need to do that. I don't need to redeploy them all the time. I'm not going to go and deploy all of these aircraft though. Egypt doesn't necessarily know they're there. He might, but then again, at the end of the day, what he doesn't know can't hurt him. So we'll just keep that how it is. But we're not actually fighting any naval combat down here, so this is in a pretty... yeah, it's just in a group, so nothing interesting happening there. We come back over to here, and we have a look. We're still just waiting a little bit longer for some of these aircraft to patrol and get themselves shot down. Although when I look at the damage done, I'm pretty sure that we may have actually dealt some damage to some other groups of that interceptor attack. Maybe I wasn't attacking the group I thought I was attacking. Anyway, we'll find out soon. So the battleships are just firing away, just for fun by the looks of it. And the cruisers will be in range soon. These aren't going to deal a massive amount of damage, but they do hit pretty hard. So they're going to fire out at 5 times 13 and do about 75 damage. So with a bit of luck, I'm going to take out one more destroyer. It's also interesting though to see how long until I lose a cruiser. Because if we look at the hit points at the moment for my cruisers, another 18 more hits. Well, if I lose another 18 more hit points, I'm going to lose a cruiser. And I don't really want to lose cruisers. I don't mind losing subs and destroyers. I view them as, replaceable. They're pretty fast. They can get back on location pretty quickly. But cruisers, if you have a look at their speed, getting one of these back over here could take some time. The cruisers are substantially faster and they can just get over in a day's trip. So 43 seconds, and then hopefully this group here will go down. In fact, if I leave that on the deck, that aircraft, I'm pretty sure it will just do defensive damage. So yeah, so at the moment it's a convoy, but pretty soon when it refuels in 11 minutes, it will be an air unit again. Even though it's on the runway, it will still be capable of dealing damage. So here we go. I'm expecting that this group here will be completely shot down when it finishes. Yep, there it goes. It's gone. Did I lose anything there? Yes, he lost a naval bomber, so it's possible that the interceptor's still out there, but due to its patrol range being significantly smaller, it might be that I can just no longer see it. Although I would be surprised about that. It could also just be maybe that it hasn't shown up. Don't know how that quite works. It's not in range of either of them yet. Apparently it's going to be attacking them pretty soon. It could be from the last little bit of intel I had. So I've decided that instead of firing at that group there, I'm going to instead take a shot at this destroyer here, which is moving forwards. Okay, so here goes this other group here. I suspect this one should get shot down as well. Yeah, there we go. There's a few more down. How are my aircraft? Okay, so that didn't take any damage, which is interesting. I know that from experience, guys, defensive damage is dealt before attack damage. So if you ever march into a fort, for example, with 1 infantry, and you're going up against a massive army of heavy tanks and armor, what's going to happen is the defensive damage will be dealt before the attack damage. So it is completely possible, I believe, that your units can die before they even inflict any damage. So that's why you don't attack just for the sake of attacking. And I believe that's what we just saw in that case there, that naval bomber group didn't deal any damage to anything because it was shot down before it could. And I guess that does make sense in terms of the aircraft. They were shot down before they could drop their torpedo, shot down before they could get in range to dive bomb. That does make sense, but in the case of infantry, that doesn't so much make sense. Like, even if you're at Normandy and you're storming the beach and, got massive defense firing down at you, you think you could still get a few hits in. But anyway, that's how it works. So if we come back into here, yeah, they lost another naval bomber, which means that it's still possible the interceptor is out there. Still want this unit to go down, and I suspect that when I do hit this, it's going to take a fair bit of damage and lose multiple aircraft. It will probably lose an interceptor and a naval bomber. It will be interesting to see what happens. So are we in range yet? Yep, so it's bombarding that, and it made it take about half health. So just in the meantime, let's just return that back to there and get it all back in one lovely stack. So that group there can attack in 51 minutes, so it might be best if we even just keep them separated. So our aircraft up here have found nothing of interest, and that's not too much of a big deal. We know that we're safe to retreat if we need to, and that's all we need to know. So I'm just going to keep these scouting around just so that they're not in harm's way, because I've already lost a substantial amount of my air force in this region. Now I think we're too low on metal, but I'm going to try. No sub, you stay there. I'm going to try see if I can place that aircraft I lost here. So we need 750, but we're nearly there anyway. In all honesty though, I do have a few aircraft still on land, so I could just divert these aircraft into the region and then pick them up at a carrier. So I think I might actually just do that. Just march them out to here, and then send the carrier back, and when they get in range, can do that. It will just take an overnight trip back to here and then send them back over. But I'll do that of course once I finish this combat. So back a little later on, and by that I mean a few minutes. Man, this is tough, I don't know how people do this. And our tactical bombs up here have exploded, what I was telling you guys about earlier, the aircraft carrier. And I actually don't think I've seen the aircraft carrier on that angle before. It kind of looks kind of nice. That's a good looking model. But yeah, we found it. It's the Invisible Hand, and I can't remember, but was the Invisible Hand a starship? Well, a flagship from Star Wars? The Separatists? I think it may have been like General Grievous's flagship at some point. I can't remember. Hey, so back a little later on, as you can see, this group here is just finishing its patrol, and it killed my interceptor. But it took a fair bit of damage too. It lost an aircraft. Yes, I lost an interceptor, and it lost a bomber. But I suspect the next time it comes back around, it's definitely losing 2 aircraft. So these guys here still haven't got back around to firing, but they'll get back to there pretty soon. They're taking their time. I don't know in what world it takes 54 minutes to reload the guns, but that's just how this game works. Although, I guess in another unrealistic view, ships can't shoot 70 kilometers. Doesn't work like that. That's a long way to shoot and then to actually reliably hit. So, that's what's happening at the moment. So, the carrier group that is there does exist, and let's just pull these back just a little bit more. Let's send them over to here. Actually, even better. I know there's some troops over here. Let's see what's here. Maybe the tactical bombers can do the actual job and hit some troops. And then I might scout around, see what's in here and here. I don't know. Those tactical bombers have plenty of time before it's safe to return to the carrier. Well, they took a bit of a hit though, taking 7 hit points of damage. And we're... they're pretty good actually. Yeah, we are nearing pretty close to losing another destroyer. Our cruisers and aircraft carriers, battleships and aircraft carriers though, are holding up pretty fine though, which is all good. That's a good thing. So I believe we can now produce that aircraft that we were going to produce earlier, but we didn't have the resources. So if we leave the rockets where they are, and we begin construction on the aircraft, awesome. And if we go back to down here, we can wait again until I return with something else happening. Okay guys, so these guys are starting to come within range, and they have showed what appears to be a few infantry-based units on land, and that's too much of an issue, but those artillery pieces there are nice. So let's just move the patrol area over to here, and then we can slowly kill that. The reason I'm using patrol and not attacking it directly is because if every single time I want to attack, I have to send it back to the aircraft, they're going to fly through these interceptors and possibly take damage if they're flying through at the wrong time. So I'm not going to waste them and send them forwards like that. Oh, okay, so at the moment it appears that Southern United States has come back again. So let's just march away in the other direction. We don't need to be here. He seems to be sending a lot forwards, and to be honest, it's not a big deal. If we have to, we'll send the destroyers as a screen and we'll just bombard these from afar. If we look at that, they're already pretty damaged and they're going to take some pretty easy hits. Now the good thing is, because they're moving if my understanding of naval combat is correct, I haven't done this in a while, if I attack them, they will not fire back because they are moving. So this now means I can put my destroyers into action. But the one problem with putting my destroyers into action is I can't outrun his destroyers with mine, because his are going 68 kilometers per hour, while mine can only achieve 63. So although it will be a very slow chase, he'd eventually catch up. But the thing is, he's going to catch up anyway, because my cruisers and battleships are pretty slow. With the battleship being my slowest unit at 36, he's going twice as fast, so he won't catch me anytime soon, but it's going to take him a while. Also guys, the thing is, although I know you want to keep your distance at times, keep in mind that if the player is active like me, don't send it just up to here, send it past. All you need is one unit to attack it, stop it, and then send your units up to the point. Alright, so this time it's going to lose 2 aircraft. Better do. All it has to do is take 9 damage and I'll be happy. So let's see, 38 seconds. Saying it's time this time and it's not updating. So we'll quickly pop back up here. If that aircraft start patrolling, but that won't be taken for another 8 minutes. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, lost 2 aircraft just like I thought it would, and that interceptor is pretty messed up at this point. It should be going down. So we have a look at these. Ooh, I think that time our battleships took a bit of the damage there, which is good because they can take a fair bit of a beating, the battleships. And the good thing is he doesn't have, well, I hope he doesn't have many other naval bombers, because those naval bombers have been pretty annoying. They're nearly max upgraded too. Like, how powerful are max level naval bombers? So he's got level 5 at the moment. Level 6, 18. Man, what about if you were lucky enough to have that? 20. Wouldn't want to run into one of those. Man, they would be effective against convoys. So there we go, in one patrol I nearly killed that artillery, which was pretty good, which means that must be nearly done as well. So it appears as though his destroyers are moving and they're catching up pretty fast, but he's stopped them to fire. Meanwhile, what I would do if I was him is once they're fired, continue on moving them again as close as possible. Okay, so hopefully this naval bomber group goes down here. I hope it goes, oh what, come on! Well, that's slightly irritating. I even kept my battleships back so they could deal extra damage. Anyway, so what I'm going to do guys is I'm going to stop recording here for a bit, and I'm going to come back later on when it's all over and basically tell you what happened like I normally do. So thank you for watching, and I might, turn it back on towards the end of the battle, but I don't intend to share anymore because it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. I'm going to destroy that. Eventually this naval bomber group over here is going to get shot to shreds and get shot down. I'm going to end up shelling the hell out of these destroyers and probably not take too many casualties, so I'll be back later.